Hey everyone, welcome back. This is Lucid. We're hopping back into our game with Sceleria in the Crucible. It's turn 55, so we are entering late mid-game. And let's hop into this turn. So we have a message from Yes, transformed Rainbow's OP. So I think he had a normal rainbow and then transformed him into that little dog thing. Um, I've cast Ritual of Returning with my Astrolord, or my Astral 4 dude who I empowered. So he's going to be really hard to kill now. He's got Twiceborn and Ritual of Returning. I'll probably put some armor on him too at some point. Because he is destined to cast Arcane Nexus, and I do not want him to die. That is kind of one of the goals. Okay, Gnome Lord didn't find anything. He Cloud Trapezed this Harbinger on one of my little squads. But as you can see, I scripted most of my priests to retreat, and I scripted one to stay. Unfortunately, I think he's going to jump in here and smack me in the back row. Yeah, so that didn't really work. But it's fine. Found a magic site, Sunken Galley, so that's nice. And what else? We can see here we're attacking Marignan, and we'll be successful there. Got a little raid in. Abyssia is running in here with one of his Banelords. So Abyssia's got a few Banelords running around. These are a really good thug chassis. High defense, reasonably high defense, good base protection. You can see he's subbed out most the armor, but they come with good armor built in. You can put better stuff on them. Really, all you need to make a Banelord a cost-efficient thug is to give them a better weapon, which again is kind of, well, that you actually kind of need. They don't have fear aura or anything, and a shield. That's kind of the minimum. Amulet of Anti-Magic is nice. And then if you think you're... I don't know the Storm Spool is particularly here for, but... okay, and then we have some battles. Oh, wait, did I already do all these? Let's just click on these. I'm not sure which ones are real. Okay, he's just raiding. This was another one of my groups. You can see all of my cultists live because I script them to retreat. And... here we lost a bunch of dudes, but we killed some flagellants, so this actually is a really good trade. Let's watch this. Okay, and you can see we killed a lot of flagellants. And they're not expensive. I think they were 10 gold. But 10 times 40, that's a fair amount. That's about 500 bucks. So, not bad. Not bad. We are happy. I mean, it cost me nothing, really. We are just pinging him here to see what's going on. And this is quite the army with 40 witch hunters. Okay, and we just retreated here, and then in this battle, these turns are starting to get long. At some point, I'd like to transition into... Okay, this battle right here, he was going and taking my guy off this fortress. Because I had this big army here. I was actually really worried they would Cloud Trapeze onto this, and so I scripted all my guys to retreat. I've actually changed that since I have my new turn orders up. But yeah, I'm probably going to switch at some point to not going through the battles here and just talking about them on the world map. It'll take away some of the surprise in terms of who wins. But it can get really tedious once there's 20 battles to go click on each of them. Because you don't really have like the context of where the battle is. So, some news. This fort got shut down in Sofdekt because there's a huge army from Marignan on top of it. They have breached that fort. And there is, we have breached the fort of Yes. Now, there is a chance, and I was thinking about this, sending this squad in to try to kill the Pretender, but it's a little risky. I'm going to move these guys on it, and I need these guys up here. So not Yes, Abyssia has canceled his nap with me, and I expect he's going to attack. So I'm going to prepare for an attack here. This is kind of, this is one of those times, right, you know where the attack is going to be, right? So that's good. So highly likely we get attacked here. This squad probably is going up here, though it may come and attack me here too. Either way, we're going to go raid over this way. Yeah. Then there's this huge army from Marignan on top of this fort. This is the one that's sieging me and has broken down my my walls. So we see it's a literal horde of these witch hunters. And each of these, I think, costs like 250, I want to say. We'll go check afterwards. And then about 100 knights. And that is just so much firepower. I mean, you just watch it and it's... Yeah. Okay. So they've broken this fort, and they're going to probably go through it this turn. There's kind of two... okay, he's really only got... Abyssia is probably going to attack me here. He may try to take Satis before I can kind of respond. Because if you remember, set up from a couple turns ago, he destroyed a huge army I had here, killed a ton of mages. And I've kind of just barely gotten set up in this spot before I declared war on Marignan. I probably could have... I don't know. We'll see. I think it would have come to war. It might have been better to attack Abyssia first. I'm not sure. Anyway. The good thing is... there's a few good things. One is... if you recall, I lost all these battles actually primarily due to Firestorm. Not Firestorm. Flames from the Sky, which is this extremely broken spell. Which you should never cast in your games because it's not fair. And the counter to this is you don't group all your guys up. So this actually is a great setup for this. My big army, where I have a lot of troops right here, they cannot be targeted because they're in the water, and they're going to move in here. And then I'm going to take mages from a bunch of different forts and move them all in here. So he can't Flames from the Sky, one big army, and then I run in unprepared. The fort which I think he will Flames from the Sky, if he Flames from the Sky any army, is this one. And I've only got a few dudes in here, so I'm not super worried about it. Now, the risk of doing this is I killed these guys, and then he Flames from the Sky everybody who lived, and then I'm very sad. But I think that's basically what's going to happen, because the alternative is never killing this army, and it's going to take an enormous force to kill them. So Flames from the Sky is this kind of crazy mechanic where if they deathball and you try to counter their deathball, then even if you win, they kill half your army. It's kind of crazy. Unless you get counters to it, which I have counters, and I think I talked about that at the end of last episode. But, whoops. My counter is going to be, I'm going to get Banes, because they're cheap, and they should survive... they should survive a Flames from the Sky or Bane Lords. I'm not sure. I'm probably going to get Banes. I think they're a little more gold efficient in terms of moving troops around. Though I could get Bane Lords. And then I'm going to also get a Wraith Lord, which will guarantee I get... I'm going to have to get up another school in Conjuration. But that will guarantee I get Rigor Mortis off. And then I'm going to run those around with my Troll. Yeah. Where's my Troll? He's right here. Okay. And then that kit should be able to kill a lot of stuff, especially when I have some other guys coming in as kind of auxiliary support. Yeah. So we're going to go fight him here. These guys can't do anything, so they're just going to preach. thinking ahead, I probably should have actually had them attack and retreat. That way they wouldn't still be here when the battle was over. Which, because everybody here is probably going to get nuked by Flamestorm when the battle's over if I win. So I probably should have done that. Yeah, I definitely should have. And so this Abyssian army is going to attack here. I don't really have any idea about what's in it. It doesn't look too big. But he's probably going to cast Firestorm, which is the battlefield-wide constant fire damage. So I've got 2 big scripts set up, and I'm going to spend probably most of this episode talking about these scripts. They're pretty similar. This army's better than the one I'm sending to fight Abyssia. Yeah, so we'll talk about it. We'll do this one first, since it's the bigger one. First of all, you can see I've got a lot of troops. I've got about 1,500 undead. And I've put them in... Well, some of them are in box at the very front, because I want to have high troop density at the front, where I don't have any mages to draw all the initial evocation. And evocation is generally going to target high HP density, so if you put them in skirmish formation, it will... Some of them are in it, but I have enough clusters of box that it should... like this is a box. It should draw in enough evocation in the front so my mages don't get targeted. Then I basically have a line of communion slaves. That's these 2. And then I have a line of communion masters back here. And they're split up so that they don't get killed, as quickly by evocation. So that's basically the formation. The guys in the front are on attack rear. The guys in the back, everybody behind this line is on hold and attack. And the reason for that is I want these guys to run in. I want them to die to evocation, but I don't want them to get everybody to get like cluttered up with them. So I want them to run in and die, and then hopefully by this time they're mostly fatigued out. The mages, which are over here on his side, and then my real troops run in. Now we'll go through the actual script. I pulled everything I could. I mean, I even pulled, like, this guy from down here. I had these boots sitting around to the 7 Mile that I had forged, and we're going to be sending him in from way far away. I mean, I pulled everything I could. I put all the items I could over here. It's a little crazy what I had to do to get this... Because my whole army and all of my infrastructure was kind of dead over here, you know? Like, I need crystal matrices to put on my my sorceresses. I needed a bunch of stuff which I really didn't have. So, that being said, yeah, we've got this lady running in. She's got a Thistle Mace, which is enough to cast Foul Vapors if you use 2 gems. So we're going to be doing Thistle Mace. And then Creeping Doom. Creeping Doom's going to give me a bunch of little bugs. 70 bugs, and a lot of them are going to fly across the battlefield and hopefully just distract them while my undead ranks close. She's then just going to be casting stuff so that hopefully she doesn't die, like Personal Regeneration and Elemental Fortitude. That's basically her lot in life. Next we have this one coming in, and this is an improvement I made on the script earlier. For a while I just had her holding for the first turn to wait for the communion to come up, because she can't cast anything else really effectively until everyone else casts Communion Slave. So, what I decided to do was give her a water item, and then she can spend the first turn casting Rain, which will cost... hopefully she'll use 2 gems, so it'll only cost 50. And then she'll be tucked into the Communion to cast Howl and Relief. Howl is going to summon a bunch of wolves, which will hopefully distract some of their mages and archers. And Relief will hopefully make this horrendous communion somewhat viable. Okay, we are going to be casting Divine Blessing right at the beginning with this guy, just to get the reinvigoration effect on everyone. And then also Foul Vapors is coming up really quickly, so this will also help with that. Then we're casting Communion Master, And then he's hopping into the communion, going to do divine channeling for any preachers I have, and then soul slay and rigor mortis. The rigor mortis at the end is just a backup in case my first guy casting rigor mortis dies. Because rigor mortis is such an important spell that you really should try to cast it twice if you're worried about the guy dying, one at the beginning and one at the end with two different guys. If rigor mortis is already running when this comes up, he won't cast it, he'll just do something else. Next we have this guy who is going to be doing Warriors of Niflheim, which is going to give everybody fire resistance, and that's going to be his first spell after Communion Master. Then he's going to do Breath of Winter, Liquid Body, Fire Resistance, etc. This person's going to be dropping Darkness and then Horde of Skeletons. We have a bunch of Communion Slaves. This person is going to do Communion Master and then Twist Fate. We're going to be buffing up all our Communion Slaves on the first turn after we get our Communion formed, and then we'll be spamming out Skeletons. So this one's doing Life After Death. Life After Death is such a good spell, especially for Sceleria. Such a good spell. You should be casting this if you're playing this nation like all the time. It makes your communions twice as good. It makes it really hard, because what happens is your slaves will die, then they get a new body with new fatigue, new HP, and then if they die in that, then they're dead for good. But that doesn't happen as much. A lot of times by the time they die, you've done most of your big battlefield spells, and the second form will usually survive. Anyway, really good. This also applies to the Communion Masters if they get hit by Evocation. I'm not going to lose any items on them. Next, we have Power of the Spheres and Anti-Magic. This will make the Communion Slaves a higher path than a lot of the Masters, so they get reduced fatigue, and then Anti-Magic for obvious reasons. Power of the Sepulchre coming out. This is going to increase the attack and movement of all my guys. Then we have Fog Warriors coming out from this guy after he jumps into the Communion. I should have a Communion +4. I think I have over 16 dudes. But I only need a Communion +3. Whoops. To be a Communion +3 to be able to cast Fog Warriors. He has plenty of gems. And then he's going to be doing Horde of Skeletons, Strain Life. I'm not going to try Mass Flight, though that wouldn't be a horrible idea just because I assumed that Storm would be coming up. Here we're going to be, this is the main guy casting Rigor Mortis, then we have this guy buffing up the Communion Slaves with Personal Luck and Astral Shield, and then another Divine Blessing. This is kind of redundant. Will of the Fates is coming out. This is going to give luck to everybody except Undead. So what it will actually do though is it'll give all my Communion Masters luck in addition to my slaves, because the slaves can get it through one master casting Personal Luck, and this would be kind of a waste. But my Communion Masters are actually rather weak, and the slaves are pretty durable. This will give it to all the Communion Masters, so if they get hit by a rogue Pillar of Fire, they have a good chance at not dying. And then I've got some Twist Fates intermixed in here at different points in the Communion, so if a rogue spell does hit a Communion slave, this will refresh it on them. And so basically they shouldn't be getting hit very much. Finally, we're down to the last few guys. We have Holy Avenger, which is not great, but whatever. Invulnerability and Soul Vortex coming up, and then just Horde of Skeletons and Drain Life. So that's basically it. A pretty intense script. This script is really hard to fight against. It's one of the reasons Sceleria is so good. And I would have won a lot of these other battles had this script come out. But it couldn't because I got Flame from the Skies, which is broken as hell. But hey, something has to help you fight against the undead hordes. The script I have here is a little bit different. We have basically Warriors of Niflheim, and we have Rain coming up the same way, which are both important. One difference is I think I only have Rigor Mortis coming up once. Where is that? She's also doing Foul, Vapors, and Howl. Where the hell did I put Rigor Mortis? Oh no, okay. Yeah, I'm casting it... yeah, I'm only putting it up once, I think. Yeah, I don't have a backup guy. Backup guy would be good. What else? We do have Life After Death coming up. I do not have any real protection for the Masters, though, aside from Life After Death. What would be really good would be if I decided to drop Will of the Fates also, but I kind of skimped out here. But yeah, basically the same sort of stuff. Focusing on fire resistance and then getting some of my other things up. So Anyway, that is that. What else? We're basically just doing other troop logistics, trying to shuffle around. I am bringing up another salvo of... Like, these guys are all moving upwards. I'm shifting some mages up here because I'm expecting a lot of these guys are going to die, and I need to reinforce part of this. I've also switched to recruiting some of these gladiators as a kind of a last-ditch effort in case Agartha turns on me. Or Agartha and I have a nap 3, and I trust this player to not break nap, but he's got a lot of dudes here. It definitely looks like he's thinking about it. And I'm getting a bunch of guys here. These will also help if I have to fight like a bunch of knights left over or something like that. They're also pretty good against the Bissia, though, anyway, they're not great. So that is mostly that. The thing here, I'm expecting he's going to attack me one of these turns, and I've kind of cleared this fort out. I don't... When you're playing in multiplayer, you kind of don't want to get armies pinned inside forts. It's really dangerous. The thing is, let's say he moves an army on top of this one, and I have my main army inside here and they weren't patrolling. Well, then what are they going to do? Am I going to break out with the whole army? Well, what if I don't have all the troops I need? What if I reinforce it from other forts? Well, if I reinforce it from other forts and he moves to the fort I'm reinforcing it to, that can trigger a battle, let's say in this fort, where they fight the army that's reinforcing, I think. That's how it was in Dominions 4. It may be a little different in Dominions 5. I know some of the movement has changed. But what I'm trying to do is spread out my army across these 4 provinces, so that when he, let's say, attacks here, I can go and jump on him without really worrying about, getting my army pinned in, and then him fighting a small faction of my army. So that's kind of the plan. What else? I think that's basically it. Have I finished? Okay, I have 1 turn left on Construction 8. And then that will march me along my little progress to getting Astrolate, which will hopefully allow me to... cast Arcane Nexus in the near future. Let's check real quick here what the bless is on them. I want to see what Astral this guy probably has. And I haven't really thought about it too hard. Okay, there goes Blessing. So let's take a quick look. Solar Weapons, so that's... What is that? Astral 2? Magic Resistance 3. That's Astral 4. 4 plus 2 is 6. Okay. So it would suggest he's Astral 6, except Marignon gets a +2 to Astral, so that means he probably only took Astral 4 on his Pretender, if I'm guessing. And then he also probably has... What, this is 3, and this is 1, and this is 2. So he's probably Fire 5, Astral 4, Blood 4. Yeah, I think that's what he is. Anyway. Okay, so that's good. That means he's not really a contender for fighting over Arcane Nexus or something like that. And Agartha has a rainbow, so he doesn't have anything close to Astral 9. I don't know what Abyssia has. I don't think Abyssia can fight me over it either. My real goal here is to survive. I sent out some messages in Diplo, so let's... One thing is I traded 36 nature gems to Agartha for 30 pearls. So he kind of got a good deal because he's getting more nature gems than pearls. That being said, if you're going to put up an Astral like Arcane Nexus, it's also good to trade for him just because you take away pearls that could be used to dispel it. Yeah. Anyway. What else? I think that's basically it. Our blood hunting is going surprisingly slow. Not terribly happy with it right here. We've got... Yeah, we're not raking them in. which is unfortunate. We're at 26. We'll see what we are next turn. Actually, it's probably the end of this episode. So tune in for the next episode, and we'll see what happens. But we're definitely going to have a big battle here, so it should be a good one. And I think this will be a good battle because I can't actually get... He can't do that lame stuff where he flames from the skies me. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you next time.